So there's been a bunch of guys online, and they're the same people who are involved with all the illegal activities happening because they wanted to keep my money. So they're involved in the theft and the robberies, and they all work in the entertainment industry. And a lot of them actually, like, I'm gonna say, probably about half of them didn't know that it was stolen material because they trusted the people that they were working with. And in the case that they thought it was a little off, they thought it was enough, like they were using their discretion to kind of fudge the details a little bit so it wouldn't be legally liable, like in the case that like anything got out. But they were wrong, and now they're trying to discredit my claims by either turning me into a legitimately and mentally unhealthy or mentally ill individual, or making me look discredited, or making me eligible for being discredited by getting me to be some sort of convict for some whatever misdemeanor, right? And they've been contacting the police. They've been involving the police force in both the USA and Canada, and also they've been trying to talk to me online. So they're taking advantage of the fact that I can't actually ignore them because now there is some sort of exchange going on. But they're not actually, like, they've been trying to convince me, like, and this is with not just like a public multimedia affiliated persons, but just small time internet personalities. And the problem is that they were trying to convince me that they're actually my friends and they're gonna help me. Now I knew that they weren't telling the truth, but I don't understand why they thought that I need to go along with it. A lot of people, including their fans, didn't want to believe that they were stealing, right? Because they were supporting them. And they didn't want to believe that they're supporting the wrong people. Some people knew that they weren't doing something right because they knew what that was. And the only reason they supported them was so that they can watch somebody destroy their life. That's it. The downfall of destructive practices is that it affects everybody involved. Right? It's not just a person who's destroying their life, but it's the person who's involved in that person's life and the target or the victim. So it kind of sucks, but that's kind of what's been happening. And before I get into the whole specifics and the nuances of all that kind of stuff, humans are still considered animals. So there's an animal instinct, right? It's this instinctive behavior present in all animals that are from the planet Earth to do things such as violence and self-preservation and species preservation. Like, that's kind of hardwired into each living being, regardless of the species, right? And a lot of people tend to forget that fact. And self-preservation and species preservation kind of go hand in hand, to the point where you can't actually have people in a social group that is harmful for other people, right? Like, you can't have some sort of sociopathic serial killer targeting innocent women, and then your entire species is gonna get wiped out eventually if you don't stop that guy, right? So there's methods of how people have developed methods over the years to prevent that from happening and prevent people from even breeding those kinds of types of people. Right? They're not supposed to be bred, and it's really unethical to do so. But that's what that is. Not everybody likes to be ethical. But yeah. So they wanted me to wait it out and hold out and hope maybe one day they'll come save me. But from what I'm gathering, since this entire thing isn't going well, I mean, they also neglected to, or rather, they forgot to take into consideration that they're also people, so they can't actually observe an innocent person die. That's not, again, that goes against the whole group and species preservation. That's gonna damage everyone, right? That's very antisocial, which is something that people instinctively breed out, those type of traits, and it's socially rejectable. So again, That's kind of why they're like trying to convince me that I should actually like claim, even if I'm lying to them, that I'm just doing this to myself on my own.
Why don't we respond to any genuine trends?
I don't know if she's still. Yeah, there's been a lot of crazy people like that following me around. She doesn't understand what's going on, and I think she said, "Oh," because she thinks that I'm actually a crazy person making all this up, even though she knows it's not true. But she's saying that to make it look like that. That's why I just find it really creepy to be here, like in Canada in general, just because they're like that. Oh, also I forgot, a lot of people here were sexually and physically abused as children and neglected, like more severely than I was. And my abuse was pretty significant, but their abuse was, oh my god, like it really fucked them up. But I guess like what their parents taught them was to hide, like was how to cover it and how to find people like you so that you're not actually without friends, and how to work towards goals. So at the very least, if you find a job or whatever, you can still manage to get by in life, right? But I'm just like, but yeah, oh, maybe she thought that I actually felt sad that they were just lying to me. I actually am not. It would have been really imposing on me, to be honest. I actually don't know them very well, and for me to fully trust somebody like that, it would like take a leap of faith. Might have actually like I don't know. It might have fucked me up somehow. So that's kind of where that was. Also, I have to get my freaking card replaced. This is another vlog. Currently, Preston's still sleeping there. Creepy lady. It's kind of weird. Like, I know some people may like me and want to have like sexual relations or romantic relations with me, and they want to date me and stuff. But at the same time, it's like the government has made it impossible for me to be able to be in that situation. And in the case that I ever get out, it's like, so you want me to like be super old by the time I like able to be married, so like I can't have kids? Like, you don't want me to have kids, even though you shouldn't have a say if I have kids or not. It's just weird, right? To me personally, I'm like, there's literally nothing wrong with me. I know that for a fact, but there's something wrong with those people, and I guess they feel insecure about that. I was thinking about that, actually. I was like, maybe like I don't understand it because I've never been in a position where I met somebody who was better than me in every single way. And like somebody who like all my friends would like immediately, and I don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. Right? Like, I just, maybe comparative to me, they feel so insecure and insignificant that just the feeling of injustice and unfairness just like and resentment builds up, and they don't know how to handle it or manage it in an appropriate way because they've never, maybe they personally haven't encountered that situation before either, because most people that they come across, they were equal in some way, right? They've never met somebody where they were so different from that person and they were so much worse than the other person, but this person was so commendable. Like, it's just kind of, a decent person would be able to appreciate this, right? Not a lot of people are decent, and even if a person's decent, I'm sure they have their limitations. Like, and I think that's what that was. Like, they are being stupid. It is dumb what they're doing, but it's because they feel that much insignificant and that insecure when they meet me, and I don't think that's personally fair for me. That's like getting me to miss out on making friends, right? But actually, if they're that type of person, maybe they shouldn't be my friend. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I get that whole like self-preservation thing where like you want to continue yourself, and like there's kind of this like competitive like aura, and you just want to like get rid of the competition, and like even if you have more babies, you're never gonna have babies as good as me, right? My babies will always be better than your babies. And that might be another thing that, like, they're jealously guarding. And it's actually self-defeating, and it gets in their own way, and it's against the species' progress, but from a self-preservation standpoint, it does make sense. But I don't agree with it. Like, I don't think it's fair for them to judge me like that. Like, as if I can change who I am in a heartbeat, or that I'm willing to just to accommodate somebody who's worse than me. I think that's unreasonable. And I get that a lot of people feel that it's unfair. And I 100%, if I was in their shoes, I would do something to compensate for that. I would. I wouldn't just sit on my ass and complain and hate the other person for just simply existing. When there's really nothing wrong with the fact that a person exists. Like, that's not really something to hate on them for. Now, if they've done something wrong or something, then yeah, they probably deserve some contempt. But I don't think people should be hated for being alive. Like, oh, how dare you be alive even though you mean nothing to me and I don't affect your life whatsoever. I mean, you don't affect my life whatsoever, or vice versa. Like, I think that's foolish. But a lot of people are foolish, I guess. Like, people tend to get less foolish as they age, I think. Like, I think probably when somebody's 10 years old, they're really foolish. And then by the time they're 20, less foolish. And hopefully by the time they're like 50, 60s, they're no longer foolish. But yeah, there's been a lot of creeps around the city, and I get that, like, a lot of them just want to be just like me, and I'm getting tired of it. I'm like, I'm not your mom, and because of what you did, I can't be your friend, but maybe. But right now, I've actually been debating. I have to find somebody to marry. I think that's, like, the only plausible way to get out of my situation without, like, starving on the streets, and it sucks, but I don't know who I'm supposed to find to marry just because there's so many people in this country who aren't really eligible for marriage. And coupled with the fact that all these people who want to target me and assassinate me for whatever reason, right? Like, they're trying to make me do something or cause a situation where they can legally get me to be a convict or a felon or get me to be, like, killed or something or other. And I just don't like it. Like, why can't I live my life? Let me live my life. I'm not hurting anybody at all. And it's not fair for me, okay? It just completely disregarding that there's other people involved, and everything they do is, like, affecting everyone else negatively. And I don't think it's okay for them to do that. Yeah, but anyway, I'm not really upset at what they did because I know they're very small people in the sense that they're insignificant. They actually don't matter that much, just globally speaking, and they're not very skilled or talented, nor are they very attractive. So yeah, I totally get that when you're like, you can clearly see you're the bottom pig, nobody's gonna ever want you, especially after meeting me. Like, I get the frustration and I get that, but at the same time, a mature person, or a normal, sane person rather, would be able to hold those feelings inside, right? And be able to release it in a socially acceptable manner, not through crime or revenge or vindictive behavior. And also, that kind of thinking just rots their brain. Or their emotion, like, it rots your soul. I don't know if anyone's noticed, like, it makes them so spoiled. Like, imagine just thinking day in, day out, like, that guy's so much better than me, or that guy's just a piece of shit just because he's better than me, and just sitting there just hating everything. That just, like, sucks, like, everything out of you. It's just, like, every goodness that you ever had inside your being is just gone. Because you decided to just sit there and hate things for no reason. Hate good things for no reason. Yeah, stuff on my tongue. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, I can't relate. I don't actually do that. But like, anyway, my current problem, vlog 2. Who am I supposed to find to marry? Like, I just, like, I don't care about the kids, honestly. Like, I'm completely capable of rearing children, but I guess the problem is that, like, I'm gonna have to meet somebody soon and plan on marrying them soonish. And I'm not really planning on marrying anyone from this country, unless they're also immigrants. Oh, also, Canada has been trying to, like, cover up for their mistake of me not applying for citizenship by stealing my citizenship and saying that I have to apply for a replacement citizenship, which is just an application for a different citizenship or something like that, to say that I technically applied for their citizenship, and I'm like, that's not what that is. And they couldn't get away with doing that because it's obviously not that what that is, since my citizenship got stolen. That would be just a replacement. And they're like trying to, the reason why the government is like all coming together to force me to be in this situation is to like say that oh, like, if you're a refugee with no legal status, this is what life would be like for you. But I'm like, why are you forcing me to live that type of life if I'm not a refugee with no legal status? Like, what would be the point of that? I'm a legally citizen person, and you putting me through all this bullshit just because you hate the fact that you're not as good as me is, quite frankly, psychotic. Like, yeah, I think they might have schizophrenia or bipolar disorder or something. Like, there's some serious mental disorders and disturbances in their brain, to which I have no qualifications in treating.
Attention customers.
So I don't know what else to say to them.
There's no service both ways between St. George and Peel. Why don't we respond to that internal trust?
Yeah, I don't really like living here that much, and I've been trying to find like the way to immigrate, but from what a lot of people have mentioned to me, I think it's like I have to find a sponsor to get out of this country. It's gonna be near impossible to find a work visa, work permit, do all that kind of stuff, especially after what they've done with my schooling and everything. And I'm like, I'm gonna, like, oh, this is really annoying. Like, I wanted to rip somebody's head off for this, but I'm like, you know what? I think it's better just to, like, dissipate the anger. Just, I'm really angry, and yeah, it's incredibly frustrating, and it's not okay. But at the same time, to, like, respond to those frustrations through, like, physical violence is not gonna get anybody anywhere. Weirdo. He's asking me for money. I don't even know why. I don't know this guy. He's weird. But yeah. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but if you actually look closely on their faces are absolutely blank. Like, it's like they don't have any, like, sort of thoughts or feelings behind the things that they do, like, with no intention, but it's just terrible what they're doing. It's kind of like brain dead. Like, I feel like they're robots or aliens or something. It's just weird.